So for the first time in my life ever, I've saved up through my earnings from work enough money to qualify myself as like the next tier of as customer at a bank.
Okay.
You know, like I'm no longer a regular, you know, the minimum salary required 3,000 dirhams.
Commoner.
You know, now it's
Peasant.
like I'm in the one tier higher. That's like this particular bank. I won't even mention the bank or anything, but I'm now like a, you know, like a, not VIP, but you know, like the advanced customer or
A
whatever.
new echelon of society you've
Like
entered.
silver or gold.
Yeah, something like that. It's like I'm a different class of customer for the bank because I have a certain amount of savings.
So like you don't have to wait in line or something when you go
Exactly. So one of the major perks, I don't even know how much of a perk it is, to be honest. But when they told me like, oh, now you're going to become like this advanced customer, which literally just means you're not poor. This is what this means. Like I've entered, now the bank doesn't think I'm poor anymore. You know, like he's someone who has some money.
There's an amount. You've reached a certain amount of money in your account.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where the bank is like, oh, you get certain benefits now.
Okay.
Among these benefits is you have a relationship manager.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
And in my mind, they told me a lot of other benefits too, like, you know, exchange rate benefits. And now when you convert money, if you send money, you can open new bank accounts in different countries for free. And there's all these kinds of benefits, which are probably a lot more useful than relationship manager.
Is one of them you don't get charged when you pull out money from the ATM?
Yeah. One of them is that. But no, I actually, to be fair, my bank never charged me in UAE as long as it's in UAE. Anyway. So, but in my mind, the word relationship manager,
For sure.
I'm like I'm an adult. Like I have someone who I can speak to about my banking needs.
Yeah. And it sounds like a rich person thing.
It sounds like I've made it.
Yeah.
Like I'm I've made it.
Like you're gonna sit with them and they're gonna tell you, we advise you to open a company in the out.
It's like having a personal assistant or like a lawyer or
exactly,
something.
who's like a banker who dresses in a suit, whose job it is to advise me on my finances. You know?
Someone just like, hold on a second. Did you say relationship manager?
So this bank refers to it as platinum.
Oh, okay.
So you enter, there's the regular retail bankers, the regular customers entrance, and there's a special entrance for the platinum bankers. Ooh. And the platinum bankers, we don't even got a park, man. There's a valet.
Oh,
there's a valet.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Especially in those parts of these areas where there's a lot of banks. There's usually really difficult, a lot of difficulty in parking, yeah.
Absolutely.
And like the conditions must be different in each section.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the security guard, before you even enter the area where you get the valet, there's a thing that blocks you from entering with your car. Yeah. And then the guy goes like, "Yes, sir. Like, what are you here for?" They're filtering, you know. And I go, "Platinum." And then he's like, "Oh, yes, sir. Please come on in." You know, like they let me in. Of course, I was very happy at this point. So I went into the special park. To be honest, there were so many parking spots, I didn't give it to valet. But I could have.
And that's the point.
That's the point. And so I park the car. I walk in. I'm wearing my blazer. I go and I go to the reception. Reception is a nice Emirati woman wearing like abaya and stuff. And she's like, "Yes, who?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm here to meet with my relationship manager." And she's like, "Yeah, please come on in. There's the waiting room. Please wait in the waiting room, and your relationship manager, Olga, will be right with you." I go to the meeting room. I sit down.
The waiting room.
The waiting room. I sit down and it's really nice, very fancy looking. Like there's a chessboard on a middle table, and the chessboard, like each of the pieces of the chessboard are really big. They're each like a fist size. Like each piece of the chessboard is big.
Very important.
Why the hell do they have a chessboard and a waiting?
Because that's what rich people like.
That's what rich people like, bro. You don't know.
Playing chess.
You don't know. Jamil's used to the commoner section.
So I sit down and
it's like couches and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
there's 4 couches around one center table. So 4 couches, one on each side of the square table, you know?
Okay.
I'm alone in the waiting room. A guy comes and asks...
4 couches or 3 couches?
4 couches. And so the guy comes and he asks me, would you like any coffee, sir? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, things like that. And it's very nice. I'm looking at the coffee machine and there's a huge TV. Oh, man, this is balling. I immediately felt like I don't belong here. I don't belong. Like it just didn't feel like me. And while sitting there, I noticed that the couches, all 4 of them around this table, each like other seat has an X. You're not allowed to sit on it because of Corona. You know, like
social distance.
You can't be sitting. So any 2 corners next to each other, they're X'd out and whatever. And it made it so that around these 4 couches, only 3 people can sit. 4 couches, but only spots available for 3 people.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, minding my own business.
There's no one else.
No one else, just me in the meeting room.
Okay.
In the waiting room. I'm waiting for Olga, my relationship manager. And I'm sitting there. And then eventually a man walks in.
Okay.
A man walks in and sits right across from me on the left, like right on the couch right next to mine, around the same table. So I gathered he's another platinum member.
Mm-hmm. Just like you.
And I'll tell you, he had all the marks of a platinum member.
Oh.
You know, like he looked like it. He had like a really nice watch, very nice blazer. He had like pants that look fitted. They were
above
like,
his ankles, I'd
like,
imagine.
Exactly, fitted to the ankles, and he was wearing loafers like without the socks. Like the way stylish people do
I can
things.
imagine.
Like young and hip, kind of.
Yeah, you could say like he's like a 35, 40-year-old dude. But hair slicked back, and he had long hair. Long hair, slicked backwards down his neck, gelled or whatever. He's wearing sunglasses. And like, just personally, I don't judge. I don't like to judge immediately. But you know when sometimes you look at someone and you go like, he kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, he just looks cocky. Like, he has this like arrogance, this feel of arrogance.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, he had all the marks of like a dude who's successful coming to see his relationship manager. Like, he, you know, and dressed really nice. I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm just like, he just had an arrogant air about him. But whatever.
Where was he from? Where did he look like?
He looked Indian. He looked 100% Indian.
Maybe
like,
the Bollywood star.
Yeah, maybe. Like, he totally could be. Like, he looked like a really stylish, cool guy who's like 35, 40 and very successful.
And this annoyed Mojo.
It annoyed me, and it was more about the way he was sitting and the posture. Like, there's just this. I said arrogance a lot, but just heck, sometimes you just get that feeling, you know?
Okay. شايف حاله.
شايف حاله, exactly. I didn't think anything of him. I thought a lot about him, but I didn't. But I didn't like pay too much attention to it. I went back to playing on my phone, waiting for my relationship manager to arrive. As I was waiting there, waiting for my relationship manager to arrive, 2 ladies come in. Okay?
Okay.
And now it's me and this guy.
Okay.
Me and this guy sitting around the couches. 2 ladies came in. And they both go, hello, are you Muhammad? Are you Muhammad Abu Zaid to me? I'm like,
this Olga?
Olga, yeah. Oh. So Olga has a colleague with her.
Okay.
They come, they tell me, hi, Muhammad, you're Muhammad. So nice to finally meet you. How are you? Blah, 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 etc. And Olga says, this is my colleague. I forget her name, but this is my colleague. She handles the life insurance products for our VIP customers, and she can talk to you about that if there's any interest. So we're both here to meet Mo. Like they're both here to meet me. Okay.
Ooh, you're so important.
So I stand up because what would you assume? They're gonna be like, let's go to the meeting room, wherever their office is.
Of course.
But Olga, I stand up and she looks kind of like awkwarded. She goes, I'm so sorry, Mr. Muhammad, but actually, we're not allowed to bring you into our offices because of Corona. Our offices are upstairs. We have meeting rooms and things like that, but no one from outside is allowed to come in. We have to conduct the meeting here in the waiting room. Okay?
Fair.
And I'm like, yeah, of course. No, like, I'm not gonna, it's adi, totally fine by me. But I look around, and the chairs that are there only have enough occupancy for one more person to sit down.
There are the X's.
Exactly. There's too many X's. So either Olga or her colleague have to sit, but they can't both sit. So we start looking around like, what do we do? And dude, I don't want to say I swear to God, but like, there ain't no chance that the guy did not pick up on what the hell was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's sitting on the couch right next to me. She just explained to me that we need to have the meeting here. And she goes, oh, but we need to sit together and there's not enough chairs here.
If only someone would get up.
He's literally the elephant in the room.
It's so, and you can tell, like, I looked at him and he's almost making like a deliberate effort at not putting his head up. Like, he's still looking down on playing with his phone or whatever, you know, like it's not a nice thing. I would just get up personally. I would just say, oh, do you guys need a chair? The thing is, are there other chairs? I look at the other side of the meeting room and in the waiting room, and in the waiting room itself, just on the other side of the waiting room, there are two other chairs that are by themselves. Two chairs by themselves in a nice area, nothing bad about it, just a few meters away from us, but they're two chairs only. So that wouldn't suffice either for me and the two relationship managers.
It suffices for one lonely guy waiting for his manager to come pick him up.
Yeah. And so I tell the ladies, oh, like, obviously, like, if he's not going to get up, but I didn't say that, but implying, well, how about you just sit here? I'm like, I don't mind if I sit on the X, like, whatever, you know, like, you guys sit together, your colleagues just sit next to each other. One of you guys sit on the X and let's just do it here.
True.
And they start going like, no, like, sir, we're so sorry, but like, this bank is extremely strict with these policies. We'll get in trouble if we sit on one of the X's, or if you sit on the X. If we let you sit on the X, we're going to be in real big trouble. We can't. It's very strict.
What a bank.
Yeah. Platinum.
Yeah. So, and now the conversation has gone on. And one of the relationship managers goes outside, I guess, to fetch more information or whatever. But like, we're just like waiting awkwardly. And I'm standing.
What is the time frame on this? Like
this whole maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
And the guy's like, nope, not
he's
gonna.
Looking down, and dude, and he's got his legs crossed like in a kick. Like in a, it's just not a, even the way he takes up space is arrogant.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know the type.
Yeah. So, yeah, شايف حاله. That's the way to put it. So the lady, I'm still standing because I got up to get up and go to the meeting room, and now we're both just standing there, looking at each other, trying to make small talk while we try to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. And Olga, very nicely and politely, walks over to his side. The guy who's playing on his phone, I'm al-hala mush sama, like he's pretending he doesn't hear us. And she goes, excuse me, sir, are you waiting for a relationship manager? So he goes, yes, I'm waiting for Mr. Vinod. And heck, in za'lan, not in a happy way. And she goes, look, I'm so sorry, sir, but could you please, we need to sit 3 together. There's nowhere else in this waiting room other than here. Would you please mind, we can take you into the next room. There's a meeting room. We can take you inside there and you can sit. But the meeting room only takes 2 people. So we can't go there. Would you mind please moving for us? And he's like, yes, no problem. I'll move after Mr. Vinod comes.
Ugh.
Well, we all know Vinod and his timings.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
If there's anyone to count on, it's Vinod.
And the girl, she didn't try to push him much because he's a valued customer of the bank. You know, she's not going to be like, come on, just go there. You know, she's not being like that.
Come on, go there, shithead.
Yeah. So she's just like, okay. Like she go, okay, no problem. And walks away to be like, we need to find another solution. while the two ladies have now gone off, presumably to find out where is Vinod. You know, maybe they're going to call Vinod because they're colleagues with Vinod, the relationship manager that this guy's waiting for. So she even told him, like, sir, Mr. Vinod is actually on his way. He's my colleague. I'll tell him that you're just in the meeting room. And when he comes, he'll go to where you are. And he goes, no. When I came, I was in that room. The receptionist told me to come wait in this waiting room. And now you're telling me move again. Like, move again? No, I will wait here. Mr. Vinod will come.
Move once. Shame on...
Anyway, so he's giving this like...
Yeah. He's been mistreated.
Yeah, no, like, I will not move. What do you mean? I already moved.
Yeah.
Move once. Shame on you.
Yeah.
Move twice. Shame on me.
All right.
Thanks, Jimmy.
So when he elevated the situation, but like, I will not move, and realized it was a matter of like his ego. Like, you can't move me more than once.
Yeah.
I've already moved once for you guys. You want me to move again? That was his ego. She backed off. Okay. So she went out to the receptionist, maybe to find out where Mr. Vinod is.
What the hell's that damn Vinod, man?
Now I'm standing there alone, still standing, looking down at him who's sitting right in front of me like a piece of shit. And I said to him, I just looked at him. Now the relationship managers aren't around. I go, excuse me, sir. Do you know what the problem is? That's what I said. Excuse me. Do you know what the problem is right here, right now? He goes, yes. They're telling me to move. I already moved once, and no. Now they're telling me go inside. I will not move again. You know, like that. I'm like, no. That's not the problem. Like, the thing is, we're 3 people. We need to have a meeting together. And we just want to be able to sit down together. But as you can see, because of Corona, I can't go up. We have to have the meeting room. We have to have the meeting here. And the only place where 3 people can sit together are these 3 chairs.
This is like feeding a toddler.
Yeah. I'm like, it's these 3 chairs. And we can only sit here. Would you mind? I mean, there's chairs right there. And like I pointed, like it's 2 meters. It's not like you can't see them. I'm like, there's chairs right over there, but it's only 2. Do you mind moving there? Mm-hmm. And then he goes like, well, like, okay, I can move to those chairs. Fine. If I can move with those chairs, okay, fine. I'll get up.
For him, this is not moving.
So I guess this is not damaging enough to the ego because he's not moving to another room. He would be moving to a different set of chairs within the same room.
His ego is so complex.
Yeah. So he stands up, okay, and starts walking towards the chairs.
Yeah.
Maybe he takes 1 or 2 steps. And perhaps he saw me, another young man, speaking to him. And so maybe he felt like, okay, يعني ما بقدر يتكبر كتير. He can't be so rude to me, a fellow platinum.
A fellow millionaire.
Yeah, a fellow millionaire. So maybe he just decided to save some face and say, okay, if it's those chairs, mashi. Okay. But I wasn't willing to move to another room, you know? Yeah. He starts walking to the chairs. One of the relationship managers comes into the meeting room. She was outside, yeah? Comes into the meeting room with a receptionist that's outside. She had just explained the situation to her, I guess. Yeah. And the receptionist came and she's like, sir, Mr. She's the Emirati receptionist. Sir, Mr. Vinod is on his way. Come, I will take you. I told him, you're waiting. Come, I will take you to the meeting room and he will go there. Okay. Mr. Vinod will go to the meeting room.
Oh, boy.
That triggered him. As soon as she mentioned, like, he was on his way to the chairs.
They feel like they're doing him a favor by taking him to the meeting room, but
It sounds like they're being extra gracious by being like, we'll give you a meeting room.
Yeah.
And he'll meet you in the meeting room. Okay. But he took it as you move me again? You know?
What the hell?
Right? So he stands there, and instead of continuing to walk past me towards the chairs, he stands his ground. He stands up, She's like, I told you I am not moving again. And I'm like, so there's a little bit of commotion. I'm like, no. He's just going to go to the chairs. It's okay. Like, you know, and he's like, I will not move. You tell me. And now it became like a little heated.
Yeah, miscommunication.
Escalated. And she's telling him this, sir, I spoke to Mr. Vinod. He's coming. Please, we'll just take you to the meeting room. He'll come there. Don't worry. We just spoke to him. And then he goes, oh, what is this? And agrees. Reluctantly starts walking towards the meeting room. I was boiling. How rude can someone be?
Yeah.
That you weren't willing for another person, not even for these relationships. It's for another courtesy. Get up and sit on another chair before we asked you. And then after I've asked you already, you know, you still want to have all this arrogance. So literally, as he was walking past me to go to the meeting room, and he's walking, خلاص استسلم, he's doing it, but reluctantly, with arrogance, I couldn't hold it in. And I looked at him.
Oh boy.
I looked at him and I said, hey, bro. Or hey, man, I can't remember. Hey, bro. He's like, what? I'm like, you're not that important. Just go to the meeting room.
Oh, shit.
Okay? Those words exactly. No more, no less.
Oh, no more, no less.
Yeah? You're not that important. Just go to the meeting room.
These are probably the words he's been avoiding all of his life.
That's what he's trying to prove.
The whole thing is an expression of how important he is. Yeah. All his behavior is only to peacock his importance.
Yes.
So he looks at me. He turns around. He goes, what do you mean? They're telling me to move. And it's almost like it registered what I had said. And as he was saying, like, what do you mean? They're telling me to... What? What did you say? Okay. What? What did you say? What did you say? And I'm like, man, just go to the meeting room. It's not that hard. And he's like, no. What did you say? What did you say?
Oh.
Yeah? And I said, and now at this point I had picked up a water bottle and I pulled down my mask. Everyone's wearing Corona masks, yeah? I pulled down the mask to take a sip of the water because I'm like, Mo, calm down. Like, you know, like... This could go sour. It could go south pretty quickly. So let me just take a deep breath. I take a bottle and he's like, what? No. What did you say? What did you say?
Oh boy.
I open the water bottle. I take a sip. I'm like, I said, you're not that important. Dude.
Did I stutter?
Yeah. No, I said, you're not that important. And I took the bottle of water, took another sip, and dude, you'd never seen a dude whose feathers have been more ruffled.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
my God.
You're like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? How do you know? How do you know who I am? You don't know who I am. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? And dude, he kept saying, how do you know? How do you know?
How do you know?
How do you know?
And dude, the relationship managers and
what's Olga doing? Yeah.
The employees in the bank now are like, oh, it's okay. Calm down, sir. Like, no problem. No. Meeting room. We'll take you to the meeting room. Don't worry. And I'm like, and he's looking at me. He's like, who are you? How do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea who you are. He goes, dude, we're face to face, like just face to face. And in my head, I'm like, if he just takes one step close, the leg that he's going to step with, I'm going to grab it and we're going to go down to the ground. You know, I'm already planning how this physical altercation is going to go down.
Oh my gosh, Mo.
So I'm standing there and he's like, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? I'm like, no, I have no idea who you are. I don't know who you are, but it gives you no right to speak to these ladies the way you've been speaking to them. So I took on like a champion of the women's rights. Like, yeah.
So I only know one thing, that you have a really shitty and late manager called Vinod.
Yeah. The only thing I know about you, bro. You have poor relationship managers. So when he started raising his voice a lot, and I swear, man, I'm not exaggerating. I wish Olga were here to tell this story. But he was saying things. He kept saying how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Like, and in a strong Indian accent. But you know the type of Indian accent where he's trying to he's trying to blend it with a British or American.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you know, man?
Oh, that was a good one.
You know, like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the point. It doesn't matter who you are. I told him, I don't care if you're a billionaire. And like now I started to raise my voice.
Oh boy.
Like, I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you're driving a Rolls Royce outside. That's the point. Doesn't matter who you are. You still don't have the right to be so damn rude when we asked you politely 3 times, like, could you please just move? Because we just want to have a meeting in a pandemic. Like you're so important that you can't move your chair. Like that's what I'm saying.
Ooh, breaking it down.
Who are you to tell me to speak to me like that? Who are you to tell me? You don't know who I am. You don't know who I am, dude. And it went on. Uh-huh. When I kept saying, and then I'm like, you're not that important. And we talking over each other, so it's messy. So he's saying things like, do you know who I am? Do I know who I am? And I'm like, you're not that important. You're not that important. I'm just repeating, you're not that important. At which point, the relationship manager, one of them, cut in to like try to separate us. She's like, no, sir. All of our customers are very important.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's just like you're lessening the brand.
No, you're important. That's right. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. And it kept it like downward spiral of disrespect, but no one swore, no one said fuck, asshole, anything like that. We held it together pretty.
We're in the VIP section after all.
I mean, you know, that's
reputation on the line.
And the whole time he would walk away. Now, as things were dying down, he would walk away, step back, and I'd try to be a dick and be like, finally, yalla, go. You know, like that.
That's so insulting.
Or like say, okay, fine, yalla, go. And then he'd turn around. Who are you to talk to me like that? Yeah. And then
he wasn't having it.
Yeah, and he would, we both want to have the last word, you know?
Yeah.
And he turned around and, who are you to talk to me like that? And I say, bro, humble yourself. I said, humble yourself. I said, be humble, bro. Humble yourself. Just go to the room. Just be humble. I was like, who are you to tell me to be humble? Me be humble? You're the one who is talking to me like this. What?
I mean, like I'm watching a Bollywood movie.
Yeah. Where's this going?
Yeah. So I go, okay. Just go. Him taking a step away and me saying one more thing to annoy him, and he turned around.
You're not that important.
This happened a couple of times until it reached like the fever. This was like the closing statement. He's walking away. I'm like, bro, humble yourself. You embarrass yourself. Just go. He turned around. Okay, next time, you keep your mouth shut, yeah? And storms away. Uh-huh. He turned around. I'm like, okay, I'll keep my mouth shut. Go. And he walked away.
He got the last word.
And he walked away with the lady, nice Emirati lady who's a receptionist, who's wearing the abaya.
Yeah.
She escorts him to the meeting room. He goes into the meeting room. You know, the blood's pumping and it's like, oh, that was exciting, you know? Yeah. He walks away. He goes away. I'm like, I start smiling to myself because like, I'm like, ooh, that was intense. And I turn around. I look at like the 2 relationship managers with their like portfolio of investment shit that they're going to try to sell me. And they're standing there around the table with like their jaws like dropped, like looking at me like they don't know how to respond to the situation. And I'm just like, oh, that was pretty intense, huh? Like, you know, like, and then I'm like, so shall we have the meeting? And I sit down, and then they sit down, and then they're like it's flustered. They go, "Sir, would you like a coffee? Would you?" It's like real awkward, and I'm like, "Look, I'm really sorry about that. Really sorry about that." I'm like, "But like, he was being rude, yeah. He was being rude. Like I was trying to like."
Yeah. So I guess being a platinum or a VIP member has its own set of challenges. It's not all, it's not all butterflies and rainbows over there.
Yeah. When you go to the top, you'll rub shoulders with some arrogant people.
Absolutely. And but I've met so many very successful people through work and clients and things like that. Sometimes a really successful person will be like the most down to earth person in the room.
Totally.
Like they'll be like so fucking cool and like they'll joke about shit, talk about TV shows and whatever.
And then you see their success as something amazing. Like you want to root for them.
Exactly. And it's only like that. But, and then there's the type of like leader, let's say manager or boss, someone who's in a high position. And they're like, it almost like they're just barely hanging on and they're always with a point to prove their dominance.
Yeah.
And that attitude is definitely the attitude that I was dealing with in this guy that I don't know who he is. But it was just this air of like, I have to prove that I'm important in everything I say. Yeah. And the fact that someone literally in his most like, in his mind, probably like the place where he can show off wealth so like directly, it's the bank where they know how much money he has. Yeah. Maybe he's like a multimillionaire or whatever. In that place, someone to call him in front of other people to tell him, you're not that fucking important, must have like it really got under his skin. I was so happy I did it.
Hit him where it hurts.
Yeah.
Yo, I wish we could get his story, like his end of the story, you know?
Yeah.
And then this guy started crying for some reason. I mean, I was trying to have a conversation with him. He started crying. What kind of man cries in public?
And urine was coming down his leg and I don't know what was happening.
It was very, very strange.
And he kept crying, saying, "You're not important."
And I told him, no problem, but I guess I'm not important for
you. He was trembling.
No need to cry.
Yeah, and then my story is like, and then I pulled down my mask. And I slowly uttered the words.
He was shaking so much, we gave him water, please, sir. I was like, and I had a sip just to get under his skin.
Yeah, and Olga, she was so grateful.
She put her hands on her chest.
I was like a hero for the bank, for everyone whose efforts suffered.
And Olga's probably like,
very possible, man.
The man who cried and peed himself.
Yeah, that's what happened.
How do you make a sale to someone who cried and peed himself?
It's very awkward when we sat. Oh, she's not Indian. She's probably like, very awkward when we sat down because tears were still streaming down his face and he smelled like urine, but we still had to go ahead. I could fake it, but the insurance girl, she was just like, oof, this guy stinks.
Yeah, that's that.
Good one. Mo, always in it for the little guy, you know?
Always in it for the little guy.
You gotta do the right things.
Although I have to admit, in this story, and this is in reflection, as much as it's heroic to be like, I was defending the two ladies, I was totally my own ego that I was annoyed that this guy wouldn't just fucking move for me.
So if you would go back in time, you wouldn't say those words, you're not that important.
Oh, no.
At the beginning?
That part is the one thing I don't regret.
Oh, okay.
But maybe in a different way, maybe be calmer in my responses to him rather than like elevate. Maybe just be humble and go, you're not that important. Just from the start, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just like try to hold back the tears in urine.
Yeah, hold back the tears in urine. Yeah,
but I mean, to be fair to the guy and his existence, you hated him the second you walked in.
This is true.
That's not his fault. You brought that energy into that room, you know?
For sure. But also I could have been proven wrong.
Yeah. True. But he
true.
lived up to...
He lived up to an idea where, maybe my level of like my blood boiling at him being so cocky was amplified by a preconceived notion that I had about this guy.
Yes.